the buildings are designed to shed water and wind. That's what buildings are for, to shed water and wind. When they fail to shed water and wind. And when they fail to shed water, the water gets in, and then things get moldy. And here's the key, and this is really an important takeaway for your audience. Mold is the predictable byproduct of stuff getting wet and staying wet for as little as 48 hours. This is very important. People think about the timeline is this longer term thing, or if this thing that happens like lightning striking or an earthquake. It's not like this. It's not a random thing. It's very predictable. If stuff gets wet and stays wet for 48 hours, between 24 and 48 hours, mold can start to grow. At 72 hours, according to the industry standard, everything that got wet that's porous should be treated as mold and should be disposed of. And why is that important? Because in the first 24 to 48 hours of a water damage issue, you can remove that stuff. It's free or cheap. You can do it yourself as long as there's not a pre-existing mold problem there, because then you'll make it airborne and cause all sorts of problems. But if it's a new issue that just happened, you can tear that stuff out yourself. You don't have to wait for the insurance adjuster or for the contractors to come in. But we have 24 to 48 hours. And by the way, insurance will pay for that to an almost unlimited degree. I mean, up to like the replacement cost of the house for water damage. But if you wait those 3 days, and you decide not to take action because you're waiting for advice from your brother or your uncle or the contractor or the insurance agent or whoever you're waiting for, or because you're, paralysis of analysis, whatever it is. If you wait at the 72-hour mark, everything changes. And now you have to hire a mold remediation contractor, which means you have to find a qualified one that you trust. But you have to get involved in mold remediation, and insurance doesn't cover it. And the cost just went up tenfold or more. And so now you're in a cash pay situation, and you're on your own. You're on your own. And it's now a health hazard. Now, mold remediation done perfectly, it takes about a month between the assessment and the report and getting the contractors. If everything goes perfectly, mold remediation takes about a month. So you've just gone from free or cheap and fast to completely disruptive, budget busting, potentially insurmountable. Because of the fact that you wanted to wait and see, or because of the fact that you weren't sure what to do next. So it's very important that people act quickly with this, because it is literally a matter of days or hours.
Yeah. When I went through this with my insurance company, what they were looking for was, when they initially sent an inspector out, it was like looking for some type of a damage associated with an event. That event could have been a storm, a branch, a hurricane, some type of a leak. But if it was water damage, and there's no date and there's no incident, then they're like, oh, buddy, that's all on you. So I learned that the hard way.